Welcome back to the Scale Forward podcast. I'm your host, Russell, and today I'm joined by Hagay, CEO of Omnistream. Omnistream is a platform that's turning any smartphone or DSLR camera into a professional live broadcast studio. Hagay, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Russell. Excellent introduction, by the way.
Thank you so much. Totally natural. Yeah, pleasure to have you on. We were briefly chatting last week just about your story, and it's an interesting one. For everybody listening, can you take us back to the beginning? What's the story behind Omnistream and how did you get started?
Sure. So Omnistream started just as a vision or a dream I had. If you remember, social networks and smartphones started by sharing texts and then simple photos and then videos, and then people just tried to go live. Now, if you watch or watched live video, it's probably because you watch the news or sports. And these two are very high-end, expensive productions. And then I started playing with this device, a smartphone, and thought to myself, well, there has to be a better way to do this. I mean, why cannot we commoditize this? These are the beginning of mass cloud adoption. So I thought to myself, instead of sending a crew with a big wagon and sophisticated equipment, why can't we democratize this to let anyone do that? Now, there were always ways since the beginning of smartphones to do live video. You can take your smartphone, hit Facebook, YouTube, whatever, click live, and then you're live. That's okay. But this is not good enough. I mean, if I'm doing live to my family or friends, the bitrate is not awesome. It will not be stable for like more than a minute. There will be glitches in the video. So, I mean, that's fine if you are a captured audience. But if I want to make money out of this or please enough audience, I have to maintain a very stable, high quality connection. And that was not possible. So that like, sort of bothered me and made me look for a better way to do this. Fast forward, I teamed up with a seasoned entrepreneur from the video industry, someone who has had successful exits in the video industry, come from the video industry, by the way, in the communication before. We teamed up together and we decided that there has to be a better way to do this, but let's do it. And this is how it started. Set to ourselves a rule, like a religious rule: stay away from hardware, do software only, and let the excellent hardware that you already possess, state of the art hardware, you don't need to reinvent it, use it. There are state of the art backend solutions offered by AWS, Google, Microsoft. Use it. Let's combine these two together and create an excellent machine.
Yeah, it totally makes sense, right? Like I remember those early days, even just trying to FaceTime or Facebook Live, some traveling videos and everything like that. And they were always grainy, even though it looked great on my camera or from my end. But the other person's end is it's blurry or you're dropping out or I can't see it. So totally get that. Totally makes sense. Okay. Brilliant idea. What was your first next step? What was the first big break that you got where you thought, okay, this is going to work. This is a thing. And now I can productize this?
Yeah, so we started trying to capture high-end B2B. So we've registered 2 patents. We started with solutions to cell towers and automatic handovers between antennas and everything. But then COVID came to our life. People could not attend even venues anymore. And even in my community, ceremonies, like my kids, they have school ceremonies. I couldn't attend. So everybody started, broadcasting everything to YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And I could see the results were so poor. So then we decided, let's do a slight pivot. Let's not target the telecom carriers or the big TV stations. Let's try to go one step down the pyramid and the value pyramid and offer it to content creators, to small TV stations, churches, storm chasers, stuff like that. People not exactly like you and I, but have whoever has a YouTube channel or a small community or professional. So this is how it started. COVID gave us a serious boost forward.
Right. Okay. Whilst you were talking there, I thought one of the biggest creators, if not the biggest creator, I don't know if you know him, a YouTuber, I Show Speed. He has like 33 million people at one time watching it. It's
Gigantic.
unfathomable to me. So, what tech is he using to be able to do that? Because, to be honest, sometimes when I'm watching his stream, it drops out. I mean, like, he was in China or something and he'd be in the middle of nowhere and it drops out or it gets grainy. So, is this something that Omnistream will fix?
Absolutely, but let's match expectations. Most of the
Okay.
content you watch, yeah, most of the content you watch is indoor. So, for example, the live video we do now is indoor. I mean, you enjoy stable and strong Wi-Fi. I have the same environment. So I'm not concerned with my stream, to fluctuate or to provide, bad results. The challenge comes to life when you're outdoor. So I live like 10 miles away from the sea, from the beach. If I wanted to broadcast this sunny day from the beach, I would be forced to use only my cell phone, again, connected to a DSLR or relying on this
Hmm.
camera. But the thing is that I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, which is my cellular operator. It could be Vodafone, T-Mobile, AT&T, doesn't matter. But if you're stuck with only one operator, then your signal fluctuates. If you produce your content indoor from a studio or from your living room, whatever, most chances is that your stream is stable enough.
Right. Okay. And so I'm not having to carry like this big antenna and Starlink around though while I'm streaming, right? Out north.
Exactly. I mean,
Okay.
previously people relied on very expensive satellite, which is great in terms of quality, but it has its limitations. Starlink is doing a great job in catering rural communities with communication. It's not really adapted to video, not something that you can carry with you. So this, I would say, piece of the market is still unserved. What do you do if you want mobility and live streaming? So again, producing live content from studio is one thing. Producing live content from outdoors. So let's say I'm a YouTuber, I have a cooking channel or about education, whatever. On every 10 videos, I would like to do it from the park, from, I don't know, from public venue. Then network and communication would be a problem. And this is where Omnistream can help you.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And so, where are you at in terms of your marketing or your go to market? Are you looking to raise? Have you acquired your first customers yet?
Absolutely. So first of all, we started, as I said before, B2B.
Hmm.
So me personally, but additional people, we started doing sales, outbound sales, like meeting customers the old fashioned way. It works well. I mean, the conversion is the best. The problem is the number of customers you can meet. So then we evolved into Facebook campaigns, these kind of paid ads where a potential customer leaves his details, and you get back to him. It's like, it's not really cold calls, it's a warm call. Sometimes it gets into cold because I don't remember leaving my details. Conversion is a little bit better than, I would say, like, cold outreach is not as good as in person, but you can target or you could meet more people. Still not great and also very expensive. Fast forward, what we do now is, first of all, organic. Organic takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of persistency, and probably a certain age to do that. Because if I'd been younger, I wouldn't have the patience. So we were very consistent and patient with organic, and it pays off. After a while, it pays off. Your SEO, your YouTube content, people start logging to your website, they leave comments on your videos and they come to you. The second thing that we do, and it works for us, is, I would say, sales engine, meaning cold emails, cold LinkedIn outreach, but in large number. The conversion is not comparable to in person, of course, inferior. But because of the volume, there will always be certain population that would ask for more details, ask for proposal. And then if you don't have to travel and meet these guys, you can take care of hundreds of opportunities in parallel. So the combination of the two works for us, and I can see a lot of synergy. If you have been exposed to a video or an article about Omnistream, and then you get a cold email or cold LinkedIn outreach, so 1 plus 1 turns into 3, and I don't know, you send an email, I would like to learn more.
Yeah, they end up in the middle of the funnel, don't they? Okay, just off the top of your head, do you know which channels are working best for you right now that are bringing in the most leads or the best quality leads?
Surprisingly organic from Spanish speaking countries. We've done a certain amount of work, not too much, not very low budget relatively, but this is the digital era where if you have content and it gets viewed by people, so the engine, pushes you up. So for some reason, again, it wasn't deliberately, but for some reason, Latin America is outstanding for us. Most sales just happen organically without a lot of investment. So one thing is to replicate it in English speaking countries, for example. Second thing would be, yeah, why not to push on the pedal and just add more outbound non-organic resources?
Can you speak Spanish?
Yes, I do. I wouldn't do
That
it. I wouldn't do it unless I spoke Spanish. So I speak more Spanish than English, during the day, simply because these are, prime market.
Okay, that makes sense, because I was going to say, well, with that, if you can only speak English like myself, not very well, there's going to be some friction around that, right? What have, but like, thankfully, you guys can, and that's really interesting. That is it more Latin American when you say these Spanish speaking countries?
Both Latin America and Spain. Then, for example, there's a lot of customers, a lot of sales in Spain, but very few in Portugal. So what's the difference? It's amazing how the algorithms, social networks and App Store, Google Play, all these platforms, it's still a relatively black box to me. I mean, I haven't deciphered how it works, but for some reason, if you're doing a good job in a certain population, it rewards you. So if there is a certain amount of people that are very happy with your service, either it's word to mouth or the algorithm just, compensates you, but it works. So like the lesson is do good and you get it back.
Yes, and then double down on what's working, and you identified that the Spanish market's working. I guess when you said what's difference is, well, obviously Portugal speaks Portuguese. I know that there might be some crossover with some of the words. What have you experimented with to try and break into Portugal or other non-English speaking countries?
Yeah. In terms of products, we had only Android working up until recently. That prevented us from trying to sell our product in North America, Western Europe, Australia, these markets that are very iOS savvy. So Android was acceptable in Latin America and, by the way, India. It's another great market that we have. Now that we have iOS also ready, available, we would like to start understanding what worked for us in Latin America and replicate it in North America. So this is where we are at. We would like to promote our product, which is primarily iPhones, iOS related in North America. And hopefully by the time we speak again, I would be able to, boast and say, listen, South America is just a playground comparing to what we do now in other territories. We have managed to understand what works for us and we've replicated it.
It's quite difficult to crack though, right? Because you deal with B2B, B2C, broadcasters, journalists, creators, Android, iOS. So are you creating a bunch of these sort of marketing flywheels and segments hyper specific to each segment, or are you more, pardon the pun, broadcasting to the whole network at the moment and seeing what sticks and then developing?
Yeah, surprisingly, the older I get, the more experience I get, the more I do trial and error. I don't know. I mean, you start when you think you have deciphered and you know everything, but then as you move forward, at least speaking for myself, I got to a conclusion where I just don't understand how it works, for the good and bad. Sometimes I fail, even though I'm convinced that I did the right thing, and sometimes I succeed, but it just happens. And of course, I'm the first man to take the credit for it. But what did he do? I don't know. It just worked. So what you have to do, first of all, you said it's difficult. If it was easy, someone else would have done it. So if it's not difficult, it's also boring. So I like the pursuit. I like to climb to the top better than conquering the top. Yeah, I mean, I try different things, different strategies, different market, different messages. For example, if you do campaign, you could go with one slogan that sticks and the other one, the same number of words, nobody clicks on your ad. There is a certain amount of confidence that you can have. There's also a certain amount of, I don't know, let's try.
Yeah, and you could take it personally, like the guy behind you that took everything personally, and then that pushes him forward to
You don't
really
want
want
to
to
be there.
make
I
it
mean,
work.
yes, he's my role model. I told you, he's my role model. I mean, ever since I was 13, many years ago. But I mean, there's no way me or you or anyone can do that. I mean, you have to have very, very specific personality. Now, the challenge is how do ordinary people like everyone could be successful without being Michael Jordan, which is unrealistic. There's a lot of similarities in personalities. And by the way, I believe that other successful people from other industries like business, music, whatever, share the same, attributes.
I grew up playing basketball my whole life, and there's just so many lessons that you take from playing in a team, from trying to excel individually, discipline, like all these lessons that I think any sport teaches people. And there was a weird stat, and I wish I could remember it off the top of my head. The amount of successful people who played a sport was like this crazy high stat, or who knew how to speak a second language or an instrument. It's just something about the lessons that you learn, you take along with you along the way. Really random and really off topic, but I think there's a lot of lessons from founders who play a sport who are highly competitive, that they bring into that element, and it helps them get ahead, I believe.
Absolutely.
Hagay, I want to talk about if there's been, I mean, you talked about the Spanish market working really well. Was and an experiment. Did you take a particular messaging that worked really well there and directly apply that into the English market and have it flop, or did it work? And is that something that you've done?
Not really. I mean, we haven't tried enough or a lot
Okay.
simply because the iOS is available for only, very short period. I'm going to say a cliche that probably most of the people you've met said. Honestly, trust me, that's true. What worked for us is create value. I mean, if you create value for your customers, that's what we did in Latin America. It just came to us. So meaning that we could offer a product that was very stable, very robust, easy to use. We have translated all the interface into Spanish, by the way, to 9 other languages. And the price was, good for them, even if they buy in pesos or in any other local currency. Now, I know that it sounds cliche, but you know what? It works. If you create the value, if this is a product that people can trust and they can afford, they buy. So the importance of what color should I use for the ad, or exactly where to put the dot, probably it doesn't matter. You have to create serious value to be, very different from your competitors. So for example, what we do outdoor versus indoor. There are so many companies, like the product we use now to record this podcast, they do indoor. I'm sitting in my living room or in my studio and I would like to produce video. This market is saturated. So many companies, by the way, they're all good. All products are good, reliable, affordable, but it's a solved problem already. We have detected an unserved
Hmm.
market. We tried to create very robust, easy to use and affordable product, and it worked. So probably the lesson I can teach my kids: no shortcuts. Have to go,
So,
the
yep.
long way.
What you're saying is you can have the most brilliant marketing, but at the end of the day, if your product sucks, it's kind of pointless. They won't stick.
Exactly. By the way, the same thing that worked for us in Latin America worked for us, for example, in India. I mean, it just works. And I don't speak Hindi, by the way. I don't even read nothing. What did I
Where
do?
else are you? What are some of the other countries that you're in?
Well, we have sales, but not, I would say, not a lot in everywhere.
Okay.
But in terms of heat map, we have two, I would say, centers. One is Latin America, the second one is India. And as I said before, hopefully by the next podcast we do together, I would be able to boast in other territories. There are places we haven't tried. So, for example, in Australia, we haven't tried. Yes, we have a few customers, organic, but nothing that we have done deliberately.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of, not that I'm sitting here watching, content all day long. Australia's a different vibe, isn't it? We're not outdoors really vlogging everything that we do. Well, maybe we are these days and I'm just not watching, but
You are.
that'd be an interest. Okay.
I
And I'm sure,
mean, I know the market. The amount of
right.
schools, universities, sports teams, YouTubers, influencers, it's amazing. Off
Yeah,
the roof.
okay. Fair
Anywhere,
enough.
by the way. Anywhere. Doesn't matter where you're from.
Okay, let's talk about scaling and tech and team and culture. How are you balancing innovating, moving forward, team growth, finances? What do you look for there?
As a startup company, I mean, I would say almost against everyone. I mean, you're busy with fundraising because you're a small business and you always have to extend your runway. You're busy with innovation and R&D, and you're busy with marketing and pretty much everything. And again, if it's a corporate, so there are different departments for different things, and at the end of the day, someone else will, can take care of this. But if you're a small team, everything is you. Everything is your fault, and
Hmm.
everything is your headache. So it makes you work, I would say, 7 days a week. I mean, not necessarily in front of a computer like, during the weekend, but you're always available. There's always something to do. You're always worried about something. That's the life of an entrepreneur. I presume I'm not different than any one of other people you spoke.
Well, I'm sure you are in some ways, but it's always good to get an insight onto perhaps your method of doing things. And so, how big is your team? Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so we're less than 10 people. Some of them are freelancers. And this is something, by the way, we've evolved, something we've learned since COVID. Before COVID, we were like 11 or 10. But then I've discovered a new fascinating way to run a business. You can rely a lot on freelancers and outsource many things that you thought that, these are, I don't know, holy. Like, you cannot touch it. So yes, you cannot delegate anyone to write the algorithms for you. You cannot outsource your core competence. I wouldn't let any freelancer to do the secret sauce. But apart from this, 90% of what we do can be outsourced. Come on, you can outsource bookkeeping. This is something everybody does. Why not maintenance? Why not technical support? So many things you can outsource. And then if you look at it as, buttons, like, I can turn it on and off and on and off, and I can expand and I can shrink as much as I want. It's just a matter of money. So if you have employees, like, bureaucracy, you have to keep them busy all the time. But sometimes not everyone has to be so busy. So if you work with freelancers, you have the flexibility. So as we move forward in Omnistream, we do this more and more, outsourcing as much as we can.
Makes total sense, right? I think as a startup, you've got to manage a whole bunch of things, and who you bring on the books should be those roles that you mentioned. Like, you don't want to give away the secret sauce to anybody, but everything else you just mentioned, there's a good analogy turning it off and on like a tap. It's, oh, we need this piece of content, or we're going to focus on this offer. Let's turn on that top. Let's create that tap, and then let's create it. And then once it's done, it's done. You can turn it off. You don't have to bring that in house. You save 100K on whatever a marketer costs to bring in house these days. Makes total sense when you think about it that way, especially with AI, Haggai. I want to talk about that. How in your day to day are you leveraging AI for any of your workflows or any of your development? Are you big in AI?
Yes, we are. Again, that's pretty much the straightforward that everybody would say yes. So first of all, AI changed something, going back to our previous topic, we used to employ technical writers as freelancers. But now, you have so many solutions for content marketing, for even creating images and now short videos. So you could do a lot of marketing either by very small resources or just with the same resources do more. This is the straightforward answer of how do you use AI. The second thing is that not having too many employees is a good thing because of the velocity. Things move forward so fast. There's like zero probability to predict what would happen 6 months from now. In 6 months, we could have so many exciting tools by, OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft and everything. So why should I bond myself to a commitment where in 6 months it could be obsolete? So yes, a lot of things are happening with AI. And a product that we are busy with that will be released hopefully this year is to combine AI with IRL like in real life. So imagine that, moving back to the beach, I like to brag about my beach, live broadcast from, the beach and have AI as recorded video, like, advertisement of Coca-Cola, or put you, Russell, next to me, and let's have a conversation. The ability of Veo by Google to create videos and images on the fly, very low resources and very fast, would turn us, Omnistream, I think that it would be the first company to introduce the hybrid approach of a real person and I don't want to call you fake, but AI. So I
That's
could put like
insane.
I could put like someone do kite surfing next to me if I'm just add more content, fake or AI content next to the IRL and combine them together and give it to you live.
So you could have an AI version of me not missing my free throws every time I get fouled. That'd be perfect.
Nobody can replace you, Russell. But apart from you, think of it. I like if you're a content creator, you could have advertisements of your local pizza, for
Yeah.
example, embedded inside the video, but not like like an image, like a JPEG, which is kind of nasty. Think of it like basketball court. You're throwing free throws. I can put Toyota next to you, and once you finish, it just vanishes. So that would be
Mm.
part of the video, You make money from advertisement. Everything is live. The engagement, by the way, of live versus recorded is 20x. If you're watching Oklahoma versus Minnesota game, live versus recorded, but 20 times more traction towards the live. There's so much recording, but live is happening now. So the value of the advertisement, if it's a live session, is X more than recorded.
That's a crazy stat too. Of course, nobody was watching that game. It was an absolute blowout after the first quarter. So maybe not 20x for that
I did.
particular game.
I did.
Yeah, no, I watched the highlights. Yes. Okay. Well, it's not scary. It's like exciting, right? Like the possibilities there is really exciting. Hagay, looking back, what's one early decision you're especially glad that you made in shaping Omnistream's culture and product roadmap?
I'll take a good and a bad. So first of all, the positive one, we started the conversation where I told you we decided that would be almost a religious rule to stay out of hardware because there's so much high-end hardware that is being made and we will not be able to compete with them as a small startup. Stick to software. And if you stick to off-the-shelf hardware like cloud and mobile, and you stick to software, it gave us the flexibility and the ability to do a lot with very few resources. And there were so many temptations down the road. Well, let's just do this. Let's just create this simple gadget that will be sold with our software. And luckily, I always turned it away. I refused. And the philosophy and, as I said before, religious of sticking to software only paid off.
Where do you, I mean, we talked about AI in the video. Would you say that that's perhaps the next biggest opportunity for you guys in the next 12 to 24 months? Or is there something else that you think would come about?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm aware that every company that wants to raise money, they add AI.
Has to mention AI. Yep.
And then, they add another zero on the right. I'm aware of this. But honestly, yes, and I'll explain why. We started this where I introduced myself and I said that the vision was to democratize live video, meaning that everyone could do this. You can open your own web channel and go live, and within a few months, you will be able to compete with a TV station. Now, thanks to AI, democracy vision will be fulfilled. Now, why? Because you as an individual would be able to create content that was reserved only to the CNN, BBC, Fox News, all these gigantic companies. You would be able to incorporate very high-end and sophisticated graphical elements, advertisements, transitions, editing, everything in real time. So from your smartphone, you would be able to communicate with your audience, to broadcast live, to add AI images that you create. So for example, you're on the beach. Hey, can you create a shark that will emerge from water and then, enter back again? That would create an edge for you as an individual over traditional TV stations. So the fact that the blessed AI is coming to our life would help us fulfill this democratic circle where an individual, a very unique content creator who is very innovative can get more traction, more viewers than traditional TV stations.
Brilliant. I love it. I want to do a segment that I like to call the lightning round, if you will. It's 4 to 5 questions, just whatever first comes to mind, just shout out your answer if you're ready.
I am.
Okay. What is the most exciting way you're seeing AI transform live streaming?
Incorporated into IRL adds value, not competing with real life, but adding value to real life.
I agree as well. What's your favorite AI tool you've tested in the last year?
It was ChatGPT until very, very recently where Google started, blasting us with so many innovations. I think that the video and images content creation by Google is by far the best.
We've got to hit the negative algorithm on YouTube. Is there a biggest AI hype that you're personally not buying into?
Education. I think that education should be kept for humans simply because my wife is a teacher. So not speaking of an introvert, but I think that education,
Bias.
no, I'm not. I think that education is much more than teaching, is more of educating. And the fact that she teaches math, she's not just teaching math. They look at her and see how she behaves as an adult, and hopefully something sticks. So I think that hopefully AI should be kept away from educating our kids, and they should be learned from real people like you and I.
Yeah, I don't see an AI correcting someone's body language or posture when they're speaking, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. And then what's the best piece of advice you'd give a SaaS founder trying to integrate AI into their business, but they're not sure where to start?
Relax. It's not going to do everything. I mean, drink a glass of water, do everything you want. But if it doesn't do everything that you wanted, it's okay. Tomorrow there's going to be a new feature, a new invention, and it's like a nuclear race. So just relax. It will happen. And if someone is not working now, it will work in 2 months from now.
I love that, and I totally agree. Just Hagay, for those listening who want to learn more or check out Omnistream, we'll put all the links and stuff in the show notes. But do you just want to say where they can connect with you or the best place to learn more about Omnistream?
First of all, they can connect with us, so they can leave details in the website and we answer really fast. You could also download Omnistream from App Store, Google Play, and try for yourself at zero cost for 2 weeks. If you like it, be a customer. If you don't, stay a friend. So you don't really have to talk to me if you want to do business with us. Yes, you are welcome to talk to me if there's something missing, if you have an idea, or if you are unhappy with something. But yeah, we're quite responsive. You can reach out to us, to our YouTube content and also feedbacks in App Store, Google Play.
Okay, well, all the links will be in the show notes below. Once again, thank you for joining us. This has been the Scale Forward podcast. If you liked it, share it with a founder and like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us, Hagay.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.